Hiya, kiddos. Thanks for joining me in Grandpa Ken's reading room. Well, I'm so excited. Can you tell what hat I've got on today? I know it's not yellow. I haven't been able to find a yellow one. I think Curious George bought them all. Yeah, that's what we're going to read is Curious George, and get ready for a bunch of awes and the puppies. You can always get an awe with the puppies. This is George. George was a good little monkey and always, do we know, very curious. One day, George went for a walk with his friend, the man in the yellow hat. See, there's George. Everybody know what George looks like, don't we? When they sat down to rest, they noticed a tiny kitten peeking out from under the bush. The kitten looked frightened. "Perhaps she's lost," said the man with the yellow hat. Together, he and George searched the park for a little kitten's owner. But the kitten was all alone. "This kitten is too young to be on her own," the man said. "We should take her to the animal shelter, where they can care for her and find her a home." So George and the kitten and the man with the yellow hat drove to the animal shelter. See the little kitten they got? See, George is always trying to help in any way he can. That's George. And he's a little curious every time. The director of the shelter was glad to see him. "It was good of you to bring the kitten here," she said. "We'll be happy to take care of her." George gave the kitten to the director. Then he and the man with the yellow hat walked inside. "Come in," the director said, "but watch where you step. We have a large litter of puppies and one has gotten out of his cage. We're still looking for him, so please be careful." She closed the door quickly behind them. See, look at George. He's already getting pretty curious at all the things he's seeing, isn't he? Yes, George can't help but being curious. That's George. George had never been to an animal shelter before. Animals of all kinds were being cared for here. George saw bunnies and cats and turtles and guinea pigs. He even saw a snake. But he didn't see any puppies. Huh? He didn't see any puppies. "George, I need to sign some papers," said the man with the yellow hat. "Please stay here and don't be too curious." We know that's silly. Just as the man with the yellow hat left the room, George heard barking. Maybe it was the puppies, but where was it coming from? Well, as you would imagine, George was curious. He followed the barking noises. Oh no, the man in the yellow hat had just said, "Don't get too curious." Oh, here he comes. And he found a room full of dogs. There were yellow dogs and spotted dogs and sleek dogs and fluffy dogs. There were quiet dogs and yappy yap, 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 yap dogs and even a dog without a tail. But where are the puppies? Then George saw a little wagging tail. Then another and another. What do you think he found, kiddos? Yeah, look at that. See all the little puppies? He couldn't see because they're so small behind the fence. Once George saw the puppies, he could not take his eyes off of them. I know just how it feels every time I see a puppy. I go, "Aw," and I want to pet him and hug him. He had to pet one. Here was a puppy. The puppy liked George. George wanted to hold the puppy. Slowly, he opened the door. But before George could even reach the puppy, the mother dog pushed the door open and was off like a shot. George tried to close the door after her, but the puppies were too fast. There was nothing George could do. Uh-oh, look it. They're gonna run everywhere, huh? Now what? Puppies were everywhere. Puppies hid under the desk. Puppies barked at bunnies. One puppy played with a telephone cord, and another one climbed on top of a cage to watch the others get into mischief. Soon all the dogs were barking, the cats were meowing, and the bunnies rustled into the corners of their cages. Look at, oh, George, what have you done this time? Oh, no, cried the director as she and the man with the yellow hat rushed into the room. Now all the puppies are out. The man with the yellow hat helped the director gather up all the puppies and put them safely back into their cages. Soon, all the animals settled down and they were quiet. Well, I bet you that took a lot, though, didn't it, to catch all those? Except for one, who was still barking. And it was just a little bark. Beep, beep, arp, arp, arp. It was the mother dog. What was she barking at? There was nothing here but a door. There must be something on the other side, thought George. You know his curiosity. He opened the door. Well, you know what came out, don't you? Huh? Have you figured it out yet? You know what came out? It was the missing puppy. Everyone's happy finally to find the puppy. The director scooped him up and said, George, you certainly caused a ruckus. But if you hadn't let the puppies out, we might still be searching for this little one. Then she gave the puppies and their mother a snack. Their puppies were now big enough to go live with families and live with them for as long as they can. Who will take care of them, she said. Do you want to take home one with you, George? Oh. See them all? They're all like you put a baby in. And you know what? She asked George, did he want one? And you know what? He did. See his little dog, his puppy? Yeah, that's George. His curiosity gets him into trouble, but then, I don't know, it just somehow he seems to get out of it and look good. Listen, kiddos, thanks for coming and listening to our stories and enjoying us. Remember, talk to everybody you need to talk to make sure they know you're here, because I don't want anybody doing anything they shouldn't do, because Grandpa Ken tries to teach you. Be fair, be honest, help your other kiddos' friends, and be respectful to your mom and dad and your brothers and sisters and all the adults around you, because that's what makes kids cool. Anyways, you have a great, smiley kiddo day.